Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I am so grateful you are here tuning in live to this video or catching the replay or listening to the podcast episode. Today, I'm curious to know your ideas on how quickly can change happen. It's something that I've been pondering lately, especially as I dive into this world of manifestation and learning to get the law of attraction to work in my favor. Before I dive in, if we haven't already met yet, my name is Young Pratt. I am a 17-year performing arts studio owner turned chief dreamer, podcaster, and author right here at Our Young Creators. Here at OYC, we are passionate about equipping kids with real-world skills like podcasting, showing them possibilities so that they can create their own futures and fund those adventures in the process. Now, today is day number 2 of a challenge in which I'm participating in, hosted by the Manifestation Babe, Catherine Zenkina. Now, I met Catherine, you may remember, at an event I attended a couple of weeks ago in Milwaukee. That event was hosted by Stacy Tuschl, and it was She is Building Her Empire Live. And Catherine was one of the speakers there. And in a previous video, I talked about what my biggest takeaways from her were during that presentation, as well as introducing you to all of the universal laws, the 12 laws that govern how everything works. And I had never heard of the majority of them, only the law of attraction. So today my question for you is, how quickly can change happen? Now, I'm not necessarily talking about changing a habit, but change itself. And I want to share a story with you and take you back quite a few years. When I first opened my business, I did so because I had a desire to get back into dance after being on the road and performing for a year and a half. There were no classes locally for me, so I decided to create them because, there was nothing else for me to do. It was either I shared my passions with my community or I didn't really get to do what I wanted to do and be part of the dance world again. The funny thing is, as we started creating more classes with our local community college, I ultimately opened up my studio. And, yesterday I shared the story about I didn't know anything about business. I simply had this passion, I had this desire, and then I really thought all of it was going to fall into place just quite naturally, because that's how things work, right? Or maybe not. During my time as a studio owner, I spent many a year having somebody else do things like MC our shows. You may not think that MCing and standing on the stage to introduce your work would be nerve-wracking, but I had this crazy fear of speaking in public. I was someone who had the ability to step on a well-lit, gigantic stage and perform throughout North America and Europe. However, that was a completely different skill set, or so I thought in my head, than being able to hold a microphone in hand and open my own shows. For years, I had somebody else do that for me. And it was my way of hiding behind that fear. Around 2008, 2009, when I was in graduate school, I had an opportunity to go present at the National Dance Educators Organization's annual conference. I knew that going to present was going to open doors and create connections and relationships with people in that world. So as I was building my business, I could start connecting my own students and their parents to these amazing professionals in the dance world. There was a big catch. You may have already guessed what that is. To be able to present at this conference, I actually had to speak in front of a room of professional educators and share my message. Now, the majority of me really said, you know what? I'm throwing up my hands, waving the white flag. I am not going to do this because I'm scared. I can get on stage and dance and perform in front of thousands of people. However, speaking in a room of 50 plus professionals scared the living daylights out of me. It was at that point I knew I needed to make a change. And that change involved me that very day, when the opportunity presented itself, seeking out local Toastmasters organizations. If you're not familiar with Toastmasters International, you definitely need to go check them out. They are instrumental in helping adults and people of all ages learn to better craft messages and take to the stage more confidently. Now, I went in not knowing anybody in this organization, and I committed myself to showing up at 6:30 a.m. every Friday morning. Now, for someone who struggles sometimes to get up at an early hour in the morning, 6:30 was a big deal, especially during the summer months when the kids are home and they're sleeping in. I also want to sleep in and cuddle with them. So I had to make a change. And that change was a change in mindset. I had to come from a place of fear and being scared to speak into putting myself in a situation that made me really uncomfortable, made my heart race beyond belief every time I was called on to talk about a table topic, which is a mini little presentation, to actually standing up and giving a whole speech. It was a massive step, to say the least. As I started to get to know the individuals who were so amazing and so supportive in this group, relationships started emerging and transforming. And pretty soon, Fridays were my favorite days of the week because I would go to these Toastmasters meetings. I would either start to give presentations and speeches or support other people who were like me, who had a fear, and they were trying to overcome that. Friday mornings quickly became my favorite because the energy I had during and after the meeting would last for days. And so I want you to think about something in your life that you know you want to change. Maybe it's something revolving around your health. Maybe it's something revolving or including your kids and your family. Or maybe there's something in your business that you are hiding behind this mindset, thinking and believing that you are a certain way. I definitely thought I classified myself and I had this belief in myself that I was nervous on stage, that I didn't know how to speak in front of people, and it scared me. But the reality was, once I started diving in to Toastmasters and going to conferences and meeting more people who were like me, who wanted to overcome this fear and be more confident because they had a message to share, the more I started loving the opportunity to speak and share with others. Now, being able to take to the stage to this day is one of my greatest strengths because I have come from that place where no one could pay me enough to stand on a stage and hold a microphone and deliver a message, to someone who now really loves this medium of video, the medium of speaking, and sharing my story in the hopes that it will help someone to shorten their path to success, or show them that it is possible to overcome fears and beliefs about ourselves when we decide. The key word being here, decide. When we decide to change our beliefs, to challenge our fears, to really lean in, get uncomfortable, and push forward because we know our paths are meant to go a certain direction. That, my friends, is when magic starts to happen. Doors start opening up and opportunities are everywhere. Now, since I have been sharing more on video and taking part in a coaching program all about using video to create a brand and a story, I am falling more and more in love with speaking to you and sharing with you every day. Now, for someone who would not stand up and MC at my own events that I created and put together to introduce my students, to now being able to come live to you Monday through Friday with a live conversation, and then bring you more messaging through our other videos as well as our podcast, that's a big deal. So as you go about your day today, I want you to ask yourself, how quickly can I change? And my friends, the answer that I have learned through the School of Hard Knocks and really tackling with my own internal voice that's telling me otherwise is that change can happen in an instant. Change is within your reach. It is all about what happens between these ears that so often tells us stories about ourselves that are completely made up. These stories are our way to keep us in a spot of comfort. And as you may well know, when we are comfortable, we are not growing. Just like when you plant a seed, it could stay comfortable in the soil and just be surrounded by love and surrounded by soil, keeping it warm, drinking in the water we're giving it every day, and stay comfortable. But it doesn't. It is created to bloom and blossom and provide beauty in our world, to provide food for us, to provide so many things that we need. And my friends, we are the same. And I know that it's a struggle sometimes to get in a mindset where we are believing that we have an important message and we're believing in our abilities to share that message in a positive and in a big and meaningful way. I get it. I've come from the other side and I've come full circle to now be here sharing with you that it is possible to make a change. So think about something in your life that you know in your heart of hearts that you need to change. And I want you to set the intention and set the belief that it can happen for you. Because, my friends, since I've been doing this work, setting the intention, changing my beliefs, and beliefs I've had for years and years and years, it has really made such a profound difference in my life. I hope that these words today make a difference in your life and challenge your beliefs about how quickly you can change to become this amazing person that you were meant to be on this planet. I'll be back again tomorrow at 1:01 p.m. Pacific, our normal time. Before I hop off though, I did want to invite you to something special happening tomorrow morning. Tomorrow I'm going to be joined by my money mentor, Candy Conant, who is a veteran bookkeeper helping small business owners understand their numbers. She's going to be coming live for a masterclass inside of our group, Raising Creators. And we are going to have a conversation about kids and money. As a parent with 2 daughters who are now working inside of our business as well as for others, I have questions about how do we start tracking this money? How do we teach our kids to be proactive and not reactive with their money and their numbers? How do we plant this seed of financial literacy in them at a young age so when they get to be adults and parents, they can then bestow that gift onto their own kids? It is happening inside of Raising Creators here on Facebook. If you are not a member of that community, I invite you to join us. Membership is still open and it is still free, so definitely come and join us tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Pacific as we talk about kids and money. I will chat with you again tomorrow. Cheers, my friends.